Hello, everybody. Welcome to Sports Scope. I'm your host, Robert Butler, on this. What is today? The 19th, April 19th. Beautiful time of year here in the Nashville, Tennessee area. Bright skies, still daylight at 7 o'clock in the evening. Great area, great time of year. Just read that Giannis won't play tonight. What a shocking um, revelation that is. John Morant's not playing tonight, but hey, Memphis is up 22-16 over the Lakers right now. Of course, it's just early. It's first quarter. Got a lot I want to talk about tonight. Got Keith Engle coming in 30 minutes after the hour. TGI Sports. Draymond Green, I guess maybe they heard the NBA brass heard the criticisms from the national media and went on decided to suspend Draymond Green for one game. The more I think about it, I understand the way Joe Dumars explained that. I'll get into that. Got a few sound bites for that. Let's go ahead and get our first and only break out of the way, and I'll be back and hit the ground running here in 49 seconds on Sports Scope. Hello, Sports Scope followers. The program has seen tremendous growth since going 5 days a week. I just wanted to thank everybody for your cash contributions and sharing the program with friends and families. Just a reminder, if you want to contribute to the program, go to the Cash App, the cash sign, and Sports Scope. There are other ways to contribute to the program listed at the bottom of the screen. If you want to advertise on the program, go to sports, that is sports with an S, another S, scope, SKOPE, at gmail.com, just like it's listed at the bottom of the screen. Thank you and enjoy the program. Plus, Tua talked about retirement over during the season when he was getting all those concussions. I'll get into that, Pickles, here in a little bit as well. And again, with the announcements, folks, Skip Hall, former Kent State coach, Boise, University of Boise coach, who coached with Nick Saban, will be here tomorrow around 15 minutes after the hour. I'll be talking to him. He'll be live, Pickles, in Boise, Idaho. Like the song Leonard Skinner said, it's 8 o'clock in Boise, Idaho. What's your name, little girl? Once I found out he's out of Boise and I saw that Boise area code come up on my phone here, it's got me thinking about that particular song. But he'll be in tomorrow, talk about his book, Coach 'em Up. So stay tuned for that. Tomorrow got a great show. And, of course, Friday, Carlos, Mad New Yorker, Chavez. Like I said, I just read this just a few minutes ago. Giannis will not play tonight. They game 2 against Miami. Now, I do think there's a sense of desperation for the Milwaukee Bucks. No Tyler Hero. I think they can pull this off. I think with the lack of offense, even without Giannis tonight. But if they don't, the Bucks, the big favorite, the 1 seed, they may have a heck of a fight on their hands going down 0-2, going on the road here. So try to keep you updated as that story develops here. Not ready to write off the Bucks, but there is some concern. I did not see that coming. When you say contusion and it's a deep bruise, this is the playoffs. So maybe they want to get him much closer to 100% because maybe I guess the coaching staff feels like once he's at that certain point that maybe Milwaukee can run the table, win 4 straight. We know about the coaching, not the coaching blunders, the lack of scoring scoring droughts that we all see with the Miami Heat. So that was an on-the-fly take, folks. I mean, again, I'm sitting here clicking on Twitter because I'm trying to click off of that to go on StreamYard, and then I see that news pop up on my screen. Congratulations to Mike Brown, Coach of the Year, wins Coach of the Year officially, according to Shams Sharamia from the Sacramento Kings, which is a good start here. Draymond Green suspended for the 4th time in his career for stomping on Sabonis. We talked about that yesterday. I think that Pickles, like I was saying at the beginning of the program, that I think that the criticism was heard. The criticism from the media, the sarcasm from some of the bigger media outlets, that the league heard that, and then they decided to go ahead and Pickle says Coach Brown got him coached up. Decided to go ahead and do it. So here's Joe Dumars, who is with the league. This is his explanation. Makes perfectly good sense. Listen up.
That's true. That's a fact. If he doesn't grab his ankle, we don't have this. But here's the thing: grabbing an ankle is one thing, and the referees dealt with it on the court, right? And so we feel like that was enough. That they dealt with it on the court. Technical foul. Golden State gets one free throw.
Yeah.
You separate that out, and you go to Draymond now. And you go, okay, that was Sabonis' act. Now, what was Draymond's act? And so when you separate them out, I'll say the three things that I said a little while before: the act itself, conduct detrimental, and repeat offender. That's where you end up landing with the suspension, and the other one is where you land up with the technical foul. So I of course, if he doesn't grab his ankle, we don't get here. But the act itself, we thought was a little bit overboard a little bit there.
Right. I think that's where people would say, okay, well, there was a discrepancy, right? There was.
Yeah, and I do agree with that. And that's Joe Dumars, who, speaking on behalf of the league. Now, remember, Joe Dumars played for the Bad Boy Pistons, so he's seen flagrant. He knows flagrant. He played with Bill Laimbeer and that bunch there. Pickles says it did. You know what, Pickles? The truth of the matter is, it's not as bad. It did give me a sense of Albert Hainsworth stomping on Andre Garrard from the Dallas Cowboys back in the NFL. This was probably when Pickles 10, 12 years ago. Now, he stomped on that guy's face. He says, well, he's grabbing me. He's doing this. He's holding. Truth of the matter is, and I love Albert Hainsworth, Garrard was bigger than Hainsworth. He was getting the better of him. They were getting that run play. Hainsworth got 65 stitches, like Pickles or not Hainsworth, Garrard did. And Hainsworth was suspended for 8 games for that. So, but the fact that the way he put that umph in it, there's some similarities there. Ndamukong Suh stumped the player from Green Bay. He didn't think the camera saw him. He's looking one way and stomping the other. An offensive lineman kicked him near the groin area. That was also in football. So, Green, again, 17 technicals. I looked up an article today, said that this is only his 4th time. But I also found out that he was thrown out of a game last year. Totally forgot about this in the Memphis series. There was a Bush League play last year where he got in trouble and got thrown out of the game in the Memphis series last year. So he's like Joe Dumars said, he's a repeat offender. Also, my opinion is that they simply I just lost track of thought here. Okay. It's been adding up for him. They're getting beat. Okay. This is what Barkley says about when this broke late last night. But Barkley makes a good point. Like I said the other day, Sabonis, they can't do nothing with Sabonis. He's 8 for 12 in that game, 75% shooting. He's close to a triple-double. I mean, that's flirting up there with the Joker numbers from Denver. Barkley's comment, and I totally agree, stand by for the foul language, though.
But what really bothers me about this whole thing, to be honest with you, we're taking away from the fact that the Sacramento Kings are just kicking their ass.
They're kicking their rear end. Like I said, okay, so now he's going to be suspended. This game is not tonight. It will be tomorrow night. That being said, first game, Golden State, going to be loud. My prediction is that the Warriors will shoot them out. They'll outshoot them. Clay will shoot better at home. Steph will shoot better at home. This thing was probably going to go to a critical game 5. Again, if they win in Sacramento, I thought Golden State would win in 6, but I said they would struggle, and I said that Golden State will not make it to the finals because they're going to get pushed a lot harder than they think, because I think the competition's better. Plus, I just think that the age of Steph and that group there, with Wiggins taking all that time off and coming back and trying to rush, I'm surprised he hasn't tweaked anything or gotten an injury from that. So it's a lot stacked up against them because they're seeding, because of the age, the strength of the league around them, and the lack of fear there. And they're small. They're small. That's won before, but when you're small and you're just a little bit slower, Sabonis is 27. He's in his prime. You know, the other players are kind of young, De'Aaron Fox and Monk and all. Well, they're like 24. They're not young. They're not young. But anyways, I'm okay with what happened. I do have an issue with the fact that Westbrook, no suspension. I was talking to a friend of mine about this today, and I'll play you a tape from Jason Whitlock on this. If I can get this squared away here real quick. Okay. So Russell Westbrook, I find out the other day, we talked about this, goes up and approaches a fan in a suite at halftime. And last night, watched a little bit of that game. Very good series. That's going to be probably a 7-gamer. I think the Suns going to have their hands full with this Clipper team. I can already see it. They're going to have their hands full. They were down 10, 12 points most of the first half until they started doubling Kawhi Leonard. I don't know how long that's going to last. They don't have a deep enough bench. But going back to Sunday, Westbrook walks into a suite, calls this guy an MF name. Anthony Gonzalez is a guy who works for FanDuel Sports. He says he saw the whole thing prior to what the fan said. The fan was just saying Westbrook. That's like a boo. So Westbrook was way out of line. And I was talking to a friend of mine about this today, and Mike, I'll give you, if Mike, you watching. What if the fan did that? What if the fan walked onto the court and started cursing out the player in the player space? The fan is escorted from the building. He may get arrested. He may be banned for life and have his tickets revoked. So see the double standard. Listen to Jason Whitlock's take on this. Very good. How the league caters to players over the paying customer.
On the chest of Sacramento. I have a problem.
Jason Whitlock.
With the 1-game suspension handed down to Golden State Warriors forward Draymond Green. It exposes a bias and an unfairness that damages the NBA. It reinforces the fact that fans no longer matter. Why do I say this? Because 24 hours before Green lightly stomped on the chest of Sacramento Kings All-Star Domantas Sabonis, Russell Westbrook confronted a Phoenix Sun fan inside a lounge at halftime. Westbrook cursed at and menaced the fan in front of a child. The NBA has taken no action against Westbrook. They're investigating the situation, allegedly. The lifeblood of sports has long been the fan. The fan buys the tickets, the jerseys, the concessions, the TV, league packages, and whatever else sports leagues sell. The fan is the customer. And in long ago America, the customer was always the highest priority. That has clearly changed. The player is now the highest priority. The fan is taken for granted. The Draymond Green controversy and the Russell Westbrook non-controversy prove my point. The NBA disciplined Draymond Green because it is concerned with protecting the players. The NBA won't do anything, except maybe a
harmless fine to Russell Westbrook because it has no interest in protecting fans.
It's a good point. Now, I'll say this. I would fine Westbrook for this, but I wouldn't make it clear. If forget about the CBA and everything. If I'm the guy in charge, if I'm the commissioner, or if I have the role of Joe Dumars, I'll make it clear. I said the next time you do that, it's not going to be a game suspension. It's going to be multiple game suspension. Okay, do not do that. We read the riot act to these fans for doing it, and we should. I'm about player safety and fans, everybody's safety. Everybody's safety. If a guy's hollering vulgar slurs, racial, but Westbrook, that's the fans want to feel part of the game. Okay, like we said the other day, Seattle Seahawks. What's the 12th man? That's the fan base. Okay, that's the fans. So it's very elitist of the league to overlook Westbrook. It's very elitist of the league to overlook Westbrook and throw the book at Green. Westbrook has a history as well of going at fans. He's also had his history with other players, texts, and everything as well. So let's just be fair about this. So that's how I would handle that. I hope that the league gets wise on this penalty. Yeah. And you know what? Pickle says fine him and suspend him if he does it again. And I would make that clear. This is for your protection and our protection. You being the players as a whole. And, again, this is Westbrook's resume, folks. 5 teams in 5 years. Okay. Multiple fan incidents. He's another guy like a Draymond Green. At some point, you got to look in the mirror and say, maybe it's me. Maybe this guy's the problem. Is it always the fan? Then when I found out it was the Westbrook comment, everybody says that. That's like booing. What kind of audacity do you have confronting a fan over some kind of comment like that? That's the level of entitlement that Westbrook has. Now, I'll say this. I do like the fact he played his butt off. He played his butt off in that game last night. I watched it all the way to almost halftime. I just turned it off. The game comes on at 9 o'clock. Again, Charles Barkley's right. The game coming on at 9 o'clock Central Time, that's 10 o'clock Eastern Time. People's got to go to work. They got to go to school. Nobody's going to stay up there. Okay, so you got the West Coast audience. Well, good. Whoop-de-freaking-do. Okay? These games need to come on about 2 hours early. I digress. Or at least an hour early, right? I could watch a little bit more if it came on at 8 o'clock, Pickles. But either way, they're going to have their hands full. They do not have a deep bench, this Phoenix team. That's the truth of the matter. They simply don't have a deep bench. I like the way the role players of this Clippers team. This is even without Paul George. I like the play of Kawhi Leonard both games. Now, he got doubled. They doubled him last night. And in the second half, Phoenix comes back. But now we're going back to Clippers land. This could be a 7-game series. I'm kind of giving the edge to the Clippers because, Durant, 40-something minutes, 38 minutes for 37-year-old Chris Paul. How long are they going to hold up? This goes off with my overall theme. These older teams, even this Laker team, I don't know if they were down last time I checked. But Tyus Jones, this guy is a good player. I'm trying to see what's an update here. Maybe the Lakers took the lead back. Memphis still up by 7. So, hey, the Lakers with 38-year-old LeBron, often injured, Anthony Davis, those teams, everybody's jumping on their wagons. I'm leaning towards the young teams. Maybe this Maybe this Sacramento Kings team gets there. Maybe this Clipper team that finally got a fully healthy Kawhi Leonard. Maybe they pull it off even in a 7-game dogfight. Maybe they get it between them and Denver. That's where I'm leaning in the West as of today. Now, maybe there's something more to Giannis. Leaning Boston for the most part anyways. To win the East, that means no never mind. Again, like I said yesterday and the day before that on the program, as many injuries as in the NBA, and nothing is for certain. Nothing is for certain. Pickle says, "Get over it" by Don Henley. Okay, switching gears before Keith comes on. Okay, now Tua is back in the news. And this is just not good for this is not really good for fans, folks. I mean, speaking to the gathered media, the talented quarterback reveals his discussions from serious concussions he suffered. He says, "I consider retirement for a time, having to sit down with my family, sit down with my wife." I didn't know he's married. And those kinds of conversations. So it's my health, it's my body. Now, I'll say this. I did see a photo of him a couple of weeks ago, and his calves are much bigger. He's doing the Jalen Hurts thing. He's doing the squats there. He's trying to get his built up so he can withstand these NFL hits. They have picked up his fifth-year option, which is next year. This year, he's a very good cap-friendly player, still on that contract. They have picked up his fifth-year option, which is next year. Now that's $23 million in 24. That's not bad. The cap is supposed to go to 255 next year. Here's my thing. You're saying that, and today is April 19th, folks. Okay, the draft is next week. Okay, a week from tomorrow. The draft is a week from tomorrow. They've got Mike White they've signed from the Jets. They've got Skylar Thompson, who wasn't bad. But my thing is, with the 51st pick, the 84th pick, and the 197, they've only got 4 picks. Do you take a Hendon Hooker if he's on the board at 51? Do you look at a Max Duggan in the 3rd round at 84? Those have to be more serious conversations if you got a guy who may get blasted again this year and get another concussion. Are you really going to be depending on a Mike White, or do you want to start this over while you still have a lot of talented players? That discussion may have already been had. Maybe he's already talked about this with the organization. So now you have to put on, they don't have a first-round pick. Remember, they got the tampering charge. They've only got 4 picks, but they're loaded. They're a loaded team. They got Jalen Ramsey. They got Xavier Howard. They traded a pick last year for Bradley Chubb. Remember that. They've got a pass rush. Terran Armstead there at left tackle. So they've got a good roster. They're good, pretty good pass rush. Not a great pass rush. Good running game there. You've got the 2 high-flying wide receivers. You're still a quarterback away. So they could be a wild card to make a move for a vet quarterback next week. This is a little bit of a long shot, but it's a conversation where 24 hours ago, it's not a conversation. Now that I know, again, Miami may have already known this. They may have talked about this with Tua back in December last year, Pickles, or October, I think is when he took that really bad hit on that Thursday night game against the Cincinnati Bengals where he got slung to the ground. So this has to be taken care of. Mike White's not going to get you there. Mike White's pretty talented, but you got to look at possibly making another move at quarterback because the window of the players around, and it will be good to reset that quarterback. Hill and Waddle, best tandem in the league. Yeah, these guys can run like the wind blows. They're big playmakers. Tyreek Hill already said that he would essentially Tyreek Hill already said that as soon as this contract's done, he's done. You know, he's made a lot of money. I guess he's wanting to leave when he's feeling good and not broken down. And I don't blame him. So when he finishes up this contract, he's done. It's a limited window here. Do you talk about a Tom Brady deal? I don't know. That would be interesting, but for 1 year or something like that. But, you know, that's a long shot. I would much more prefer of guys, you know, whoever McDaniels. Now, listen, there's a story. I'm not going to get into. I may get into this later on this week, but there's a story out there now that Trey Lance is on the market, that teams have already acquired about Trey Lance from the 49ers. Now, I'll tell you right now, they'll be lucky to get a 4th-round pick for Trey Lance, as raw as he is right now. Okay. But this thing with Tua, you got to protect your assets, man. You know, and, you know, Pickle says maybe Tannehill could go back to Miami. It's a different coaching staff down there. There was a rumor. This is just a rumor report that Tennessee may be interested in Rodgers if the Jets fall out, Pickles. And then if that happens, maybe Tannehill goes to the Jets, maybe goes to Miami. Whoever gives the best would take him. He's just 35. He's 35. They got a really good running game, defense, big playmakers. He does get the ball to the playmakers. You saw what he did with A.J. Brown. So it's food for thought. That is a keep your eye on story. And if I'm the brass and the coach there, we're coming up with a game plan. We're putting some of these quarterbacks on our radar. Again, they probably have already done it. We're just now figuring this out. Okay. So I will have. We'll have Keith Engle coming in here in just a few minutes. 49ers receiving trade calls for Trey Lance. Now, I'll say this about this while we're waiting for Keith to show up. Now, a guy like Shane Steichen, what if the Colts don't get who they want? What if the Colts said, you know what? We're not making a bunch of trades. The 3 quarterbacks we're interested in, they're all off the board. Well, if the Colts says, okay, we'll give you our 4th-round pick or 5th-round pick, we'll take Trey Lance. We'll give the 49ers another pick. We'll take Trey Lance. Now, that type of read option play, I think that would work. It's really good for an athletic quarterback. You bring in slowly a system around. Just food for thought. That's something I was thinking about today when this story came out that Trey Lance that the 49ers are receiving calls on Lance. I mean, Lance looks awful right now. I don't think, and somebody said, what about Tennessee? And then, well, Tennessee's got a guy on the roster, Trey Lance. His name is Malik Willis, Pickles. Pickles says that Rodgers and Vrabel would be must-watch TV. Yeah, they might butt heads, and Vrabel's not going to take an ounce of crap from Rodgers, okay? And Pickles says the Titans have never been on Hard Knocks. Hard Knocks has been in effect over 20 years because I remember watching them when the Ravens went on back in 2001, the year after they won the Super Bowl. The Titans have not been on there. Seems like everybody just about has been on Hard Knocks. I do think that Hard Knocks, they do need to change their rules, okay? I think they need to not find a team that's had this kind of record or that kind of record. I think they need to go and pick just any random team. For one thing, they've got 2 Hard Knocks. That would be kind of cool if they had an in-season Hard Knocks here in Nashville, Pickles. That would be awesome. I like the in-season one better than the coming into the regular season because the stakes are higher. You got regular season games. The pressure's on. You can see it. You could see the level of seriousness. I've watched it the last 2 years in Arizona. I told you about that fallout, somewhat of a fallout, a little back and forth with DeAndre Hopkins and Kyler Murray saying, throw me the ball, man. He's like, I'll throw you the ball, man. Chill. They're back and forth like that. And you could see Jim Irsay with the Colts just going off that Carson Palmer made all those interceptions the year before to lose their season finale and not make the playoffs. And they ended up getting rid of Carson Wentz after that because they lost that final game at Jacksonville, out of bad Jacksonville. This was year before last. Last year was the in-season one was Arizona, and we saw the whole demise there. And you could see the owner was really frustrated. And we obviously the general manager stepped down for health reasons. We thank in air quotes. And then, of course, Cliff Kingsbury, as I predicted, end up getting fired. Getting fired at the end of the season. Plus the news about Kyler Murray having to a study clause put in his contract, and then it was taken out, and all that good stuff. So, it's really good. Good stuff. Anyways, yeah. So the Knicks, going back to the NBA, there goes Keith right there. Never mind. Let me bring him in. Come on down. Price is right, Keith. How's it going, man?
Hello, Robert. How are you?
I was just talking earlier about this Draymond Green getting suspended now. And, y'all like Jason Whitlock saying, wait a minute. So Russell Westbrook, he walks up to a fan in a suite. The fan, there was a guy from FanDuel Sports there, heard the whole thing. He says, he's causing West Brick. This was not even out of line. That's like booing a guy. He hasn't got suspended. Draymond Green gets suspended. What's your thoughts on the Draymond Green thing first?
Well, it's not surprising that Draymond Green has this come down, and this is, his MO. So he's already been suspended before in the playoffs for reaching a certain number of flagrant fouls. So, will they miss him? Probably, but he's not the Draymond Green that was helping the Warriors win championships anyway. To me, he's a big missing piece in why the Warriors aren't winning again. Yeah, because he's not the player that he was. I'm not surprised by this. His excuses are a little bit lame. I mean, he said he's getting pulled, and I'm not very flexible. I can only stretch so far, so I don't step on the guy. Well, whatever. I mean,
like Barkley said, and I didn't quite paraphrase it the way he said it. Barkley says, they're just getting their bleep whooped. My thing is, I said this before the game, Keith, that they, and mainly Looney and Draymond, they have no answer for Sabonis.
None.
No, I mean, he is just dominating these guys. He shot 75% the other day, man.
Yeah. Listen, I thought going into this first round of the playoffs, this was the most intriguing series to me to find out whether Sacramento was real. Because the Warriors have been playing some pretty good basketball since they got healthy. And they are the defending champions. And I thought, this is a pretty good matchup. Find out how good Sacramento, actually is. And they're pretty damn good. Sabonis is really good.
Yeah.
This is a better basketball team than people I think know about, at least yet. Now they're finding out, and they could do some damage here in the West.
Is this thing over?
No. I mean,
I'm like you. I'm still hesitant because they're the champs.
Yeah,
this is a very young team. This Kings team.
Yeah, and they've come back from being down and out before. I've seen this team come back, and there's the old adage that these 7-game series they don't start until the home team loses a game. So
right,
they're until they get into and they're champions, and I truly believe until you knock them out, they're not done.
Rudy Tomjanovich, he never underestimate the heart of a champion.
Exactly. And I mean, there's a lot of examples of that in sports. But with that said, this is a much younger team. Yeah. And I think you're going to have a very tough time here. They got to go back to Sacramento and win games, and I'm not seeing them winning a game on the road the way they played the first 2 games here. So,
yeah, and I thought they had game. Something told me they would lose and potentially lose decisively in game 2. Mm-hmm. I thought that Golden State gave them their best punch in game 1. I mean, it seemed like they had the game in hand, and then like Sacramento just hit another gear.
That was a good
last
game.
Few minutes. Of course, De'Aaron Fox playing out of this world.
Yeah, he's playing some great basketball. We talked about Sabonis, but Fox is obviously
he's the closer. He's their Rivera.
He is a great player, great closer, as you said. And they got some young guys. They got a guy right here in my backyard, grew up, Kevin Herter, came from the Hawks last year.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, nice.
He grew up here, and his father was a star at Siena College. I remember
him at the Hawks, yeah.
They play in the MAC, and he went to school here at Shenandoah, which is only, 20 minutes up the road from me, and ended up in Maryland. He's a great player. Had some really good seasons with the Hawks. He did. He's not he's not an all-world player, but he's the kind of guy that really can help you. He hasn't shot the ball really well in this series so far, but when he gets it going, he can really fill up the 3-pointers, and I think you'll see something out of him before this is over. So, again, before we started the playoffs, this was the most intriguing series to me in this first round, and it still is. Until the champs are gone, this is still my favorite series so far. We'll see.
I mean, the crowd was really into it.
Yeah.
This is some really good playoffs, man. The best I've seen in years so far. I'm only 2 or 3 games in.
Yeah, it's funny. I said that this is my favorite series. I'm obviously rooting for the Knicks. I'm a Knicks fan. So outside of that, this is my favorite series. So.
Oh, yeah. So what's your deal with Westbrook being Westbrook?
You know what? I'd say this a lot to guys. Just shut up. The guy was, listen, it's a pretty witty little play on words.
He's like a little thin skin. He's like a little girl or something. Thin skinned, ain't he?
You're not a grown man who can't take just a guy busting your chops and go home. Take your money and go home. I mean, that's nothing. And I say all the time, that bad fan behavior is not okay. This doesn't cross any line whatsoever.
Westbrook, that's like a boo.
He didn't talk about his
family, no racial
slurs, no family stuff, no anything. He just took a really witty turn of word for his name, and I thought it was very well within.
He went 3 for 19. I mean,
what does he care? All he has to do is keep walking.
Right. And the media's poo-pooing this, Keith, but apparently the Suns they put security towards that exit last night, and they had to go the other way to go to the locker room. So it's a bigger deal than being let on.
Yeah, it's a bigger deal because Westbrook made it one. I mean, it should have been nothing. He should just kept walking.
That's white noise. Who cares what the fans are hollering?
You don't think when those guys come up and down the runway with fans, on both sides of them, and you see them in the hallways, and you don't think they get worse stuff said than that? And guys just keep on walking. The smart guys. I don't think anybody ever accused Russell Westbrook of being one of the brighter bulbs in a room. Sorry. Sorry, UCLA education department, but
I think, I see that stuff as a sign of a badge of honor. I think about, was it the Red Sox? I don't know why I thought about this baseball thing. Hollering Darryl for Darryl Strawberry.
86 Mets. Yeah.
Darryl. That's a sign. Hey, look, man, you're relevant. If people saying Westbrook, if you were, Kevin Hewler, you think they would be doing that with you? You're guy off the bench.
No,
this guy's a $200 million max salary player at one time.
It is a sign. I agree. It's a kind of a badge of honor. I mean, the whole Darryl. It's funny you mentioned Darryl. I'll give myself a shameless plug because I just interviewed one of the '86 Mets on my.
Did you really? Who'd you interview?
Kevin Mitchell, who played integral part on that team, played every position. But
oh man, look at you!
second base, and he was the NL MVP in 1989 with the Giants. Great player.
Man.
I got him off the golf course and actually did an interview with him here just a couple hours ago. That'll air tomorrow night.
Well, Skip, I'm going to interview former Kent State coach, Boise, Skip Hall.
Oh, Skip Hall's a great interview. I had him a couple years ago. A lot of fun. Great guy. You're going to have a lot of fun with him.
Yeah, he wanted to come on. He got with Mac and said he coached with and coached with and for. He coached him and coached with Nick Saban.
He did at Kent State, I believe.
Yeah. Kent State, where Saban went to school at. So.
He was an assistant on the great Don James staff at Washington. He really got a colorful career. He's a colorful guy too. You'll have a lot of fun with Skip. Yeah. Tell him I said hello. I don't know if you remember me, but we had a lot of fun with him.
Paul out of Boise, Idaho.
Yeah, Boise State is the head coach, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Matt gave me his number, and he's out of the Boise area. So what do you think? Let's go to that Cleveland. Nick's got a chance, man. They got a chance.
They do. They got out of Cleveland what they needed, right?
They got the win.
They don't have to win any more games in Cleveland if they take care of business at home, which has been a problem for them this year. The Garden hasn't been, they played better the second half than they did the first half. But
yeah,
I think they did what they needed to do. This game 2 was ugly. I would like to have seen Thibodeau get maybe the starters out of the game at the end. Randall took a big shot that could have turned out.
Really?
That could have turned out a lot worse in the closing minutes. The game was out of hand. I mean, Cleveland still had their starters in, so it's hard to pull your guys when they're still got their starters in. But the game wasn't nearly as close as a score. But Randall took a big shot, got knocked into the seats. I can't remember who hit him now, but they just got to shake that off. It's a loss. Mitchell didn't even have a good game. He only scored I don't know.
Garland was a big score.
Yeah.
The box score. I didn't see a lot of it, but I figured that they would probably shoot the lights out and make some adjustments.
I think this is still a good matchup for the Knicks. I think they'll be fine, and they should get their first playoff series win in a while. Just take care of business at home. Play like you played in game 1. Stay within yourselves. Let Mitchell score his points and stop everybody else. That's what they did last Saturday in game 1.
I thought it was great, man. Toppin and everybody getting loose balls. And, they played well. Now, I was reading a statistic here. Winners of game 1 on the road in a series in the playoffs, 52% of the time they win. Teams at home win 85%. That's why it looks good for the Kings. Now it's 92 because they're up 2-0. But again, with the heart of the champion thing,
Yeah, that's the only chance. That's the only reason I would give the Warriors any chances.
Yeah.
Any other team I would bury right now.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but the way from looking at it, I'm like you. I picked Cleveland in 7, but maybe the Knicks. I don't know. I mean, my heart's with the Knicks. I like Thibodeau too. I don't want to hear Carlos say "I told you so."
I was hoping they'd be up 2-0 when I had it
before Friday. Yeah, right.
Yeah, because all he'll concentrate on is game 2 and the bad stuff.
They blew him out.
If he's playing the old guys, he's not playing the young guys. If he's playing the young guys, he's mad he's not playing the old guys. He can't. He just hates Thibodeau. For whatever reason, no reason.
I think Thibodeau didn't sign an autograph for him.
I think so. Him and Barry Trotz are the two guys that he's had out for forever.
Former Predator hockey coach down here.
Barry
Trotz. Man, I haven't heard that name in a few years.
Well, he wanted him gone for the Islanders the same way he's wanted Thibodeau gone from the Knicks for the last 5 years. So. Trotz is only one of the winningest coaches in the history of the NHL.
He leaves Nashville and he wins the freak. He's like our Andy Reid, Keith.
Maybe that's why he hates him because he's got this affinity for Nashville. I don't know.
He's still got a lot of heart for the Nashville teams. Carlos, God bless his heart. So what? Hey man, a lot of news broke before you came on. Giannis is out tonight. Are the Bucks in trouble?
Without him, they could be. I'm trying to remember. I'm having a brain fade.
Miami.
They're playing Miami. Miami's not a bad team. Listen, Miami's got some good players. Walker, boy, I'm having trouble tonight.
Butler.
Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Walker. Jimmy Butler is still a really good player. They got one of the best coaches. Eric Spoelstra is one of the most underrated coaches in the NBA, in my mind. And
they have score droughts, though, sometimes.
Yeah, they do. They do. This team, though, I mean, if they don't have Giannis for an extended period of time, this thing could swing the other way.
Yeah, I was shocked by that, Keith. Like I said, like 1 minute before I went on the air, Giannis is out. I'm like, a contusion. That's a deep bruise for what I see on Google. I hadn't
heard that before you brought it up, so that's an interesting turn of events. I'll have to check that game out later.
Right. Well, back against the wall at home, maybe Hero's going to be out for a while. He might not come back at all for Miami, by the way.
Yeah.
Hand injury.
Yeah.
Ja Morant's out, but this Tyus Jones with Memphis is one of the best backup point guards in the league. And they were up last time I checked. So what do you think about that Lakers series?
That's another good series. I'll tell you, I think the Lakers will win this.
I thought they'd win in about 6, but who knows?
Yeah, I don't know the extent of Morant's injury, but
he can't feel his hand at all.
Yeah, that'll certainly have a big impact on this series. But even if he's healthy, I just, Memphis is good, but ever since things went awry and he went off the rails, it doesn't feel like this team. This is a team I thought would have had a chance to win a championship before he went off the rails.
Oh, and then Adams is out, and you got Brandon Clark's not playing. That's your bigs, man.
Everything started to go downhill. As soon as he went to the strip joint with $10,000, and took a swim in $10,000.
Do not follow anything James Harden did in the past.
Right. Excellent point. Excellent point. You might as well leave Pickle's comment up here because Looney fits just about everything we're talking about here, starting with Carlos right through the rest of this conversation. So.
Yeah. Memphis. I thought the Lakers would win too, and I don't like to give the Lakers credit for anything, but I love this story about this hillbilly Kobe, Austin Reeves, undrafted free agent out of Arkansas.
Yeah. He is a great story.
Isn't that hilarious?
You got a team full of stars. You got three great players on that team. That a bunch of guys that
Yeah. And I can't remember that other guy's name. It's like Ashi Moro, black guy, but he's got a Japanese name. He scored 29 the other night. But Shannon Sharp and Skip Bayless was like, this Tyus Jones, the team, they're like 32-13 with him at point. He's not as out of control as Ja Morant can be. He actually runs more of a conventional offense.
Yeah.
And the Lakers have a tendency to kind of mail it in sometimes. And who knows when Anthony Davis is going to, I thought he was going to get hurt at halftime the other day and he wasn't going to come back.
Well, he did. He said he couldn't feel his arm or whatever, right? They were ready to have his arm amputated, the announcers did. And then they come back for the half, and he's back out there. He looks fine. So
he pulls a Paul Pierce. Remember that year? Paul Pierce is being carried off, and then he comes back and hits a bunch of threes and beats the Lakers. And
it's like every sport's got a guy like that. Terry Bradshaw was like that with the Steelers.
Overly dramatic.
He'd get knocked silly and then come back and throw a big touchdown pass. You'd think they had him giving him his last rites in the locker room, and he'd come back and throw a couple touchdowns in the second half. So it's fun. There's always a drama queen on every team, I guess. I don't know.
There's a story out of the NFL. I almost forgot to ask you about this. Tua, he's already talking about, said he's contemplating retirement and stuff. We're a week away from the draft. Did they consider maybe looking at a quarterback now in the earlier rounds? They've got a pick in the second and third round. They've only got 4 picks, but they're loaded as a team, man.
Yeah, I'm not shocked to hear that he had considered retirement with everything that went on with him last year. And
but you rarely hear guys come out and say that publicly.
No, you don't. And it's an interesting time to do it. As you said, now what do the Dolphins do? They've got all this money wrapped up in him.
Yeah.
And, they've got some great players surrounding him. But can he survive another? I hate to use the word survive.
Well, you're in the New York area. Do you think Mike White can save the day? They signed him from the Jets.
Listen, he's a decent player. He hasn't shown he can stay healthy either, though. The few times
that is true. He'll have a really good series or half, and
he gets hurt too. I mean, he had his chance to win this
side, and then he gets hurt.
He had a chance to win this Jet job, and then he got hurt. He played really well, and he got hurt. So if he stayed healthy, the Jets very well might have made the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
So
and they got that Skylar Thompson guy who played well against Buffalo. I don't know, man. I think maybe Max Duggan and, what if Hendon Hooker falls to the second round?
Whether they go that early it would surprise me, but for them to take a guy later on, I think is more likely. The Patriots, I think they'll do the same thing. I'm trying to think of the kid's name from Fresno State.
Okay, yeah, I'll say that. They got a sixth round, 197. Maybe they take one at 6.
Maybe. Hey, you know what? Some teams had pretty good luck at 197. Just saying.
Hey, Brady, he's in the 6th round.
197 is a good number if you get the right guy.
What was he? Was he that number?
Yeah,
I believe he's 186. Was he 197?
I could be wrong, but I thought it was 190. I could
look at Pickles giving us updates here. 59. I told you the Lakers have a tendency to mail it in.
Look at that. Look at that. Well,
down here in Lakers, they just. Hey, what is your thoughts on that clip? Is that Clippers series going 7? Not to bounce around, but I forgot to ask you, what do you think about that series? That's hard fought, man.
Yeah,
that is a hard fault.
It is, and I think the Clippers. I think they go out. I think they lose in this series. I really do. I think
Clippers or Suns.
Oh, I like the Suns. I like the Suns. I think the Suns will come out of the West eventually. I think it could. I don't know if they can match up because I haven't seen the bracket or much closer to the bracket. I like the Suns or the Kings to come out of the West. I really do. Nuggets always full.
What about all this playing time that these minutes that Durant, he had 40 something last night, 39 for Paul.
Yeah, I look at Durant. Durant's a difference maker here in my mind. Yeah. I mean, he's still, when he is on the court and he's healthy, he's still one of the top 5 players in the game.
Yeah,
he's not a leader. That's the problem with this guy. He's got to go out and actually do well because he's not going to lead other people to play better. But as long as Durant's healthy, the Suns are going to be my prohibitive favorite probably in the West because he hasn't missed a beat since he got there. It's funny he got pretty healthy once he got to Phoenix.
I don't know, man. I mean, I was watching that game. I was telling the audience earlier. I mean, I wish like Barkley said, people got to go to work. I mean, the game comes on at 9 o'clock, but it was so good.
I know.
I watched it almost to the end of the second quarter, and the Clippers had them down 10, 12 points, and they were already up 1 game. And apparently, I read later or saw in the little highlight thing that Monty Williams started doubling Kawhi Leonard, have them double Kawhi Leonard, and of course they came back and won there. Clippers, man, this may be another dog fight like that Warriors series.
Yeah, listen, I think they could be. Is George back? Is he playing?
He's supposed to be back in the next series.
Yeah, not this
possibly.
Series.
You know how that can be. It's hard to go right into playoff basketball, man.
I agree. I mean, you got to work your way up into playing shape again too, and because everything's ratcheted up a notch too once you get to the playoffs, so it's hard. But
maybe that's why they're the Warriors with Wiggins. That they can throw that one in there as well.
Well, yeah, I thought him coming back, them playing well, and then him coming back because he was an integral part of that run last year, and I thought that would probably put them over the top in the West. But no, I can't count them out because it's part of the champion, but it doesn't look good for them.
Yeah.
And the East, look at if Johnson's out for a little bit, the East is going to be a little bit of a crapshoot too. The Celtics,
if they can stay healthy, that's another thing. Is it the load management, Keith? Is it the week? Because this is a new format. We're only 2 weeks into 2 years into this deal where teams are off a whole week before the playoffs start.
Yep.
And they go into full tilt like that. Giannis taking a charge. He's got this back contusion. You're getting hand injuries. I don't remember this many injuries this early in the playoffs. Keith.
That's a great point. I mean, some of the biggest stars in the game have gone out here this first week, right? And
yeah,
maybe it is a sitting around because, and maybe you'll start seeing with this play-in tournament, some of these, 7 and 8 seeds will start knocking off the teams in front of them because they've got some momentum coming in.
Yeah.
If they're any
That's
good.
part of probably why the Heat played so well, even before Giannis got hurt.
Yeah, there are a lot of the 7. And look, the Heat to me are a live dog in that spot because they're better than the Hawks. They're better. I'm trying. Who's the 7 and 8s in the West?
Well, I thought Minnesota would have played Denver better. They got blown out the other night. Maybe they give them a fight tonight. I don't know.
Yeah, I thought Minnesota would have had a chance too against Denver because Denver always chokes it up in the playoffs too. The Nuggets do so.
Yeah,
but look it's the NBA is wide open. It doesn't always go to form anymore.
No.
It used to, and look at if the Knicks get by Cleveland and the Bucks are Giannis-less, even if they win.
They'll play the next round, huh?
They will play in the next round. That'd be an interesting matchup. If he's not, 100%. I don't want to get ahead of myself here.
Lakers, Minnesota. The Lakers they're gonna wear themselves. Davis, it's if with Anthony Davis,
right?
Yeah, and LeBron's 38, man. You can see when he gets tired, he starts turning the ball over a lot.
Yeah. Good. He's still pretty good, though, man. I'll tell you. I don't know.
For 38, I mean, he's still pretty sharp. He knows how to get these guys involved. Austin Reeves and everything. Gave that guy some credit. He said, "Hey, man, the guy's got a high basketball IQ,
LeBron's he is a very smart guy. He does have a high IQ, basketball IQ. You're right. He gets early in his career, he didn't take the heat that he takes now because I thought he always got it right. He gets in trouble now because he can't keep his mouth shut like everybody else. It seems
off court stuff, political crowds and stuff.
I mean, keep your head down a little. I don't have a problem with guys speaking out, but don't hit me over the head with it, And then
that's true, right?
Right, and then you do hypocritical things like sign shoe deals with companies that are using child labor in China.
Right. And then don't lecture us about this if you're doing that.
Yeah. Did
you hear that the other day with Greg Popovich going 8-minute rant? Dude, you got the second worst record in the league. Total garbage after Tim Duncan. Then he goes an 8-minute rant about gun control and all that. And I'm thinking
nobody cares what Greg Popovich thinks about gun control.
74 years old. One radio host said the guy's a glorified gym teacher going over this stuff, and he knows he's supposed to be smart. He knows about the China stuff too, him. And I respect him as a coach, and I respect the other guy, Steve Kerr, too. But they all go on about this stuff, man. And it's just like,
be
consistent, and you'll get more people behind you.
I agree, and some of this goes back to even like the Michael Jordan days, right? I used to think Michael Jordan could have spoken up and helped rather than speak out about issues. Yeah. And LeBron, how about do the same thing? How about the sneakers that have your name on them? Yeah. Make them sell for like $40 instead of $300.
Right.
And maybe
if you want to help inner city kids, I was an inner city kid, man.
They wouldn't be getting killed for sneakers. Maybe we should.
I remember that in the 90s. Starter jackets, and sneakers.
How about?
I never owned a pair of Jordans. We couldn't afford that.
Yeah, well, the kids who couldn't in the inner city just go out and kill the kid who had it. Right?
Yeah, so that is true. That's a good point, man.
Anything with my name on it, you could do a whole lot more good for people than speaking your mind by saying anything with my name on it's not selling for over $40, whatever. I mean,
that's what I like about Arthur Blank. He's the only owner that I know of. The Falcons, they sell their merchandise for not merchandise, for refreshments, $1.50 for a hot dog. Regular prices for drinks and hot dogs in the stadium, rather than $8, $9 for a beer or whatever, a hot dog. That's why I don't go to the game. I'd rather watch. Billy Sports Guy was saying that to me. He said, well, Titans. I said, if the Titans were, I'd be watching it at home. It's too much hassle.
Yeah,
it's too much money.
I used to love the games in person, but today with all the stoppages, with time and the money that it costs to go there, it's much more comfortable being at home.
Parking.
Sure. I got to tell you before we
do, man.
You brought up Arthur Blank and what am I trying to say here? The
Falcons.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the food concessions. I think one of the weirdest combinations of any food concession in any team is the Falcons and Chick-fil-A, because Chick-fil-A doesn't open on Sundays.
Yeah.
And the NFL plays, and if you're a Falcons fan, you're not going to see them on a whole lot on Sunday night football or Monday night football, or you're going to see them Sunday afternoons, and your main concession can't open on Sundays because it's against whatever.
Oh, the Chick-fil-A, yeah.
Crazy.
Hey, I love Chick-fil-A. Me and Carlos went to school. I ate it for 4 years at Austin.
Yeah. When one of those opens up here in upstate New York, because there's only like one within like 300 miles of me, they're going to open another one. The lines will be around the corner. It'll take you 3 hours.
They're like Starbucks, man.
I've eaten there.
That's like it is here.
It's okay.
They went past KFC, man.
It's okay, but I'm not waiting in line 3 hours.
Oh, no way. No, it's way. I just buy my own food. It's too expensive. Everything is too expensive. There's no way. But I did eat it for 4 years. I love those waffle fries, man.
Oh, they are good. I'll give you that. They also got a good chicken breakfast sandwich. They really do.
The chicken, the little nugget things, the waffle fries. Appreciate it, Keith, coming in, man. We'll play it by ear here. No news on the Patriots, but you never know.
No,
not this week, anyways.
We did sign a new quarterback, Flynn from. No, I'm sorry, that was the Jets. Who did we bring? We brought in
somebody, and I can't remember.
McSorley we brought in to carry the clipboard for Zappy and Mac Jones. So
I'll say, so who do they take in the first round next week?
Boy, I'll tell you, they're all over the place. I think it'll be I think it'll be an offensive lineman, and I like the kid from his name's escaping me now.
Tennessee, Darrell Wright, maybe?
No, well, he's one of the guys that's high in their draft board. I know that. There's another kid, I think, from Purdue. I can't think of his name now.
The defensive lineman guy?
No, he's an offensive lineman.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah, but they're all over. You look at the mock drafts, they got him on defensive line. They got him on offensive tackle.
I thought they were taking a corner, maybe Joey Porter Jr.
Cornerbacks, there's a couple of cornerbacks that they're high on, and Porter's certainly one of them.
Yeah. Belichick loves his corners.
Even wide receivers, this kid from Boston College, they're high on, but I don't.
Oh, that'd be great, right? Local guy.
I would like to see that.
His name's Zay Flowers.
It is Flowers, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
5'8", reminds me of Steve Smith.
Yeah, he's a little small. That's the problem, though.
Yeah,
I think they want a guy who can get down the field and go up and get the ball. That's what they thought they were getting with Parker, and it didn't work out. I think that's what
got Gordon. I mean, it y'all may explode next year and surprise everybody.
Listen, I can see that.
Bill O'Brien take a normal offensive coordinator,
You know what? And I know we'll talk a lot more about it before the season, but right now I can see this team being anywhere from 12 wins to 6 wins. I have no idea right now. I have no idea.
Well, that makes me not feel so bad. I'm about there, right there with you.
It's,
I'm not ready to throw them away.
It could be really good. I think Bill O'Brien's going to make a big difference in this team.
Yeah.
The only thing that can screw it up is Bill Belichick's crazy infatuation with keeping Mac Jones in his doghouse. Because everybody else in the organization loves the kid, and the only guy who won't give him a ringing endorsement is the only guy that matters.
He just needs it. They need to like shake hands and go have a cup of coffee or something together. Go get some Dunkin' Donuts, and
I get Bill being upset, but just put your ego away and just do what's right for the team and get behind this guy like he needs you to be.
Has Mac asked you about coming on doing that draft show? I haven't brought it up to him yet, but if they want to do it, I'll stop in.
He talked about it a while back, and he hasn't mentioned in a while. I'm going to be traveling for work. I'll be in Michigan, but I think I'll be in a hotel room, so I can probably pop in for a bit. Or I'll be at the bar. I don't know which.
Well, I don't think I'm going to do a show that night now, but if he asks, I'm just saying maybe I'll see you on there Thursday.
Yeah. We'll see you there. We always see each other Sunday mornings.
High five, brother.
Great to give you a high five as I tag you in, and I tag out.
Yeah. Hey, man, thanks again. Hey, good crowd tonight, too. Like I said, I got a good audience. I'm going to get it back to some basketball, man. Hey, you have a good one, Keith.
Have a good night, Robert.
Thanks, buddy.